Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Right on. Welcome to the Jackie and Laurie Show.
Hello, Laurie Kilmartin.
Hi, Jackie Sue. How you doing? Jackie
Pretty good.
Cation. I should give them your last name.
Give them, except for that, you know it's in the song. That's,
that's
all
right.
the song is our names.
Never again. Never again. It's always Jackie Sue. That's such a great name. You're
Jackie
very
Sue.
lucky.
It's a gift. It was a gift from my dead mother when she said, "Here."
Stop bragging that your mother's dead, please. How dare you? Mine's been living with me for 12 days. I don't need that shoved in my face.
Oh, I love that you know the days. The days are hilarious to me. That's I do love sort of the if you follow Laurie Kilmartin on Twitter, you will know that you will get a little heads up what she's asked you for. She's learning how to use a remote. She's unscrewing a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah, each of the remotes. I'm a cord cutter, which is deeply distressing to elderly people.
Yes.
The
fact there's no landline and the fact that there's no cable.
Yeah. She's really off her game. And the Apple TV remote is super intuitive. The new one is like, it feels like an iPad.
All Apple stuff. Oh, it's on screen?
No, not exactly. But
Thank God.
You use your you don't click on it.
It's intuitive, but only you have to use it and then it becomes intuitive.
Right.
It's only intuitive if you've used a lot of Apple stuff.
Yes, yeah. And then I also have an Amazon Fire Stick just to cover all bases.
Yeah.
She's still very perplexed, and I'm debugging every day. I'm trying,
what is she downloading?
She constantly logs out, and then I have
so
to manually log back into 18 services, Hulu and Netflix and everything.
Amazon,
and I can't remember all my passwords, so I try it 20 times because you have to type really slowly with the remotes. It's like, oh my God.
We have a PS3,
yeah.
So it's constantly with the joystick thing, and you're like, when will this PS3 fucking die so that we can buy a DVD player, and it'll be fine? Though we have a DVR that I got for free. They sponsored the Dork Forest, you guys.
Oh, that's
TiVo.
That's cool.
TiVo did. So we got a TiVo. So I got a lifetime TiVo box, and I'm
great.
Unplugged. But it means I can record things off of regular television because we have an HD antenna. Mm-hmm. We have Amazon Prime, Hulu Plus, my sister's Hulu Plus, my brother's HBO Go, our own Netflix, and my own Amazon.
So grown up with your own Netflix.
We have our own Netflix. You know what happens when my nephew doesn't call me? I change the Netflix password, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going, Thomas? Yeah, why don't you call your grandma?"
That for me, that would be a way I would freeze out my family. That's how we're the opposite.
I'd freeze them up by changing the.
Yeah.
So it was Valentine's Day, and you dodged a bullet by going to New York.
Oh,
because it's a classic.
I dodged so much by going to New York. So I moved. My mother's stuff comes down on Thursday.
Okay, a week ago Thursday.
Yeah.
Right.
So. And I have a red eye on Thursday night out to New York City because we're not working on Friday.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so
the stuff all comes.
Stuff all comes.
You fuck off.
A partial drop at my house, of some old stuff that I like, and then another drop at a storage center in Burbank. And then we get it all, and then I get in a car and I go to New York City to relax in Harlem.
And do 16 sets over the weekend.
That's much more peaceful.
It's so much more peaceful to do 4 sets a night over New York.
Yeah, at one point I was like first of all, I can sleep in. Nobody wakes me up.
It's true. You can sleep it out.
Oh my God.
And you can catch up on all the sleep.
8 to 10 hours of sleep. It's like being in a tomb. I love it.
Yeah, I bet.
And, I call in once a day. I totally
you check in.
I check out completely though. I mean, I feel like I become just a comedian again. I'm not a daughter or a mother. I'm just a comic.
Right.
And even then I'm a comic that's like
in New York. And there's all the greatest sets in the world.
Yeah. And it's just so exhilarating, and I forget my life in LA, and I just become like 30 again, where I just came to New York and I'm alone. And it's fucking awesome. But like I call once a day to check in on the
Yeah, make sure that everyone's still alive.
The two sea creatures in my house that are dueling, and they're arguing over piano, and I'm like, just make him play happy 12 times. It's not negotiable by. And then I just exited, and I think it happened, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
It was great. And then one time my mom called me in New York and said, the floors hurt my feet.
Perfect. That is a classic
I don't know
moment.
how to solve that problem.
I don't know how to sound that. That sounds like your feet hurt.
Yeah. We need shelter. We need floors and ceilings and walls. So that's a problem I can't solve.
This reminds me of a Chinese proverb, Laurie Kilmartin. There's a Chinese proverb. It's like, there was a man who walked across the earth and he wanted to cover the earth in leather because it hurt his feet. And the Chinese proverb was, just put on some shoes.
Thank you.
There you go.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm sure I've massacred it. Well, I want to tell you because okay, so Valentine's, traditionally, of course, all women comics work on Valentine's Day because clubs go, oh, that's right.
Right.
So, and it's better now, but whatever. But I traditionally don't like to work.
I have a side note off of that, but we'll go to it later.
Okay. Don't forget.
Okay.
And
remind me. That's all what I'm saying.
All right. So, but I don't like to work Valentine's Day. I don't like to work New Year's Eve.
Is that a day with your husband?
No.
Okay.
It's just because I forgot that it was Valentine's Day.
Okay.
When I said because Valentine's Day was actually on Sunday.
Right.
So I worked a 13th. I worked the Saturday night gig at a barn in Upland. Hold your applause. Things are, and I tried to do that thing like my dad told me to do, which was never say no without a number.
Right. What do you mean without?
Never say, don't ever turn down a gig. Just price yourself out of the gig.
Oh, sure. Yes.
Right.
Right.
And I have yet to pick a big enough number. He's like, and remember to pick a big enough number because otherwise they will have the money. So it's in Upland. Upland is probably an hour from here.
It's near San Bernardino, right?
Right. It's 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on traffic. Right. And he goes, yeah, would you like to do this Valentine's? There'll be dinner and then a show, and then we just really want you to come. And I said, I'm going to need $1,200
up top.
Except he didn't fucking blink, and he goes, okay. And I was like, damn it. And then
how much could you have asked for?
I have no idea, because then he said, now, do you want us to get an opener or should I get an opener? And I said, I'll get an opener, and he's going to need $300, because the thing is we're in Los Angeles.
Grew a pair and a half over
in Los Angeles. You could get anyone.
Yeah.
You could get someone for $300.
Yeah.
To do both sets. So I thought for sure no one's going to give me this money, and he's like, we're doing it. And so I got Tom Clark to open for me,
cool.
And I ended up giving him, because Maria has this whole thing about thirds, Bamford, that we should all make a third of the money. Her people. Right. She should make a third. I should make a third. And I'm like, well, that's going to be amazing when you're bringing in tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anyway, so I ended up giving Tom a little more money. But the thing is so he did like 25 and I did an hour. And of course, it's Valentine's Day. So this guy's like, hey, I want to propose to my girlfriend. And you always try to discourage him and say, do you think I wouldn't do it publicly. And he's like, well, no, I'm sure she's going to say yes.
The first sign that he does not know his fiancée at all.
Well, don't publicly ask. It's a private thing, for the love of God.
Right.
Anyway, so I said, well, when do you want to do it? And he said, well, I don't want to pull focus from the show. And I said, it's Valentine's Day. Your love is definitely going to pull focus from the show.
You're going to pull focus. When did he all of a sudden become in show business?
Well, Upland, it is Los Angeles adjacent. So, because he did actually use the words pull focus.
Oh, man.
And I said, well, we'll do it at the end of the show. And I invented a thing, which is probably I didn't invent. But so I close my set and I get, I do my last. They want to stand up, give me a standing ovation and carry me off stage. They want to, but I say, no.
You're so brave.
Thank you. And I said, how I like to end my show is I like to bring a couple of people on stage and they act out a scene. And so then I brought him and his girlfriend up and I handed them the mic and I said, all right, and action. And then he asked her.
Awesome.
It actually worked because I got to do my time. And then it was very pretty. He got down. It was sweet. He got down on one knee and he gave her a thing and it was great.
That's probably someone's actual closer. There's probably some road hack right now going, my scene.
Oh my God, she stole that. Yes, you can have it back. If I never have to work another Valentine's Day, you can have that back, sir, and or madam. So that was Valentine. But what's your Valentine experience on the road?
Oh.
Did you have a story? You said you had.
Oh no, I just wanted to do a side note because March is Women's History Month.
Finally.
The Punchline in San Francisco, all hail Molly Schminke. She's booking female headliners for every single week that month, and it's like
Is it gonna be
Christella
me?
and Miss Pat House. It's I forget the other ones, but it's like all solid.
That's awesome.
It's is it going to be me?
Am I working? No, I'm
The
not working.
only flaw in her plan is it's not you or me. That's the
That
only
is a flaw. But you just got to work there. But you did a weird Christmas thing, didn't you? Didn't you do
It was like a New Year's.
It was
thing.
an event.
Yeah, sure. But it was still that was at Cobb's.
Yeah.
The Punchline, which is the gem.
It's the big
such
one.
No, it's the small one, which means it's a way better room than Cobb's. If you're a performer.
Punchline. Oh, yeah.
It's the small pink one on top.
I got to
of
work
the
old
Embarcadero.
Cobb's, and that's what I thought you were talking.
Old
Remember
Cobb's
how
was great.
Remember how cool old
Yeah.
Cobb's was in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Low ceiling, the good dank.
Yeah, low ceiling and just a feeling. You walk downstairs, down. You walk down to the wharf and you get in. And, Yeah, that's gone now. But
that's
yeah,
cool. She's going to
it's
have all
female
all women
headliners.
comics.
Yeah, it's like, why the fuck isn't every
Is she
club
doing
that?
Is she doing women features or MCs, or is it just one because it should only be one?
I don't know. I didn't check. I just saw all the headliners.
Molly, just all women comics.
It might be.
And they should all be white. Just 3 women, white women, one after another, one after another,
First
one after
of all, Miss, I don't see color. The only 2 I remembered were Christella and Miss Pat House,
And those
neither
are-
of whom
Those are women of
white.
color?
Yes,
I don't know either of them.
Yeah,
That's-
Christella Alonso.
I don't know Christella Alonso.
You don't know Christella?
Oh, well,
She is. She had her own show on ABC. Do you know Christella's story?
No.
Fucking amazing. Okay,
let's do it.
So and I'm probably going to tell it wrong.
That's fine.
Just I'm going to miss crucial facts.
Christella,
But okay,
talk to somebody.
But she's from Texas. She's and she
African American or
she's Latino.
Latino, okay.
So she was Christella Alonso.
right, Alonzo? I should have got that.
That's okay.
I
That's
missed
okay.
out.
No. It's baby steps. I'm holding your hand. We're walking.
Thank you.
Okay. So she did the Last Comic Standing she did the same time I did. Okay.
Okay.
And so afterwards, she did Conan. She had a fucking killer set on Conan, and it was all, on point of this is who I am.
Okay.
I am Christella, and it's
It's the greatest.
it's
like
one of those
great
old
sets.
fashioned. This is my sitcom set.
Oh, nice.
That we were all taught to do.
Right.
That a
I
lot of
remember
people
that.
aren't doing anymore.
No, they don't need to do it anymore.
Yeah. So she does it and she gets a deal, and
Oh, that's awesome.
So she
What year's that?
That's like 2 years ago.
Oh,
I think.
awesome.
Okay. 2 or 3 years ago. But she got deal money and I think she wrote the pilot, but they weren't going to go with it, but they gave her money. So however it went, she took the money and said, "I'm shooting this pilot."
Oh, wow.
And instead of banking it or getting a Maserati or something, she put it all back into
The show.
doing her own thing and going, "Fuck it, I'm doing it." And they shoot a pilot. She pays for everything from
Yeah.
this thing, and it's like the Cinderella story. It gets picked up by ABC.
Because they're like, oh, now we get it.
Yeah, and it runs for a
Classic.
year.
And it runs for a year, and
Did
then they
not get picked
cancel
up
it
again.
Yeah.
But I think it's doing pretty well on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Oh, good.
But anyway,
what do you remember the name of the show?
Christella.
Just Christella.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it turns out I can. Well, who knows? Like, if you had a show, would it be called Lori? But your
I
name
think it
isn't
would be called
Christella.
the Jackie and Laurie show, even if you weren't involved. That's how much
I like that
adore
you would put me first. That's very sweet of you.
But anyway, she is, like, I just saw her at Comedy Magic a couple weeks ago, and she's like killing it. She's working on a ton of new material, and she's out there on the road just boom, 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 boom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like
So people should check her out.
Totally check her out. But she's. I think she's going to come around again. Like I think you must go through that experience and learn so much and go, all right.
Yeah,
the next time
there's not
I'm going to
just
load
one
my gun
chance.
differently.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's not just one chance.
No,
it just
not
keeps,
at all. It's when you're
especially-
talented and you work hard. There's more than one chance.
Yeah, it
you
just
know?
keeps it just reboots. It's a carousel.
Yeah.
And you'll see that horse again. You'll get to get on that horse again. It'll be fine. And but she wasn't even going to be the one that we were going to plug this.
Oh, no,
we were
not
going
at all.
Tracy,
Ashley.
who I saw this week.
Yeah.
because she was just in town hanging.
Yeah.
and I went and saw.
I saw her for 2 seconds, I think, on the same night. We were all
Flappers.
almost at Flappers all at the same time.
Right,
but-
me, you, Laura House, and Tracy Ashley were all
Yeah,
at.
you like hit the parking lot as soon as I pulled up.
Right, I was
You're like,
pulling
I'm
out
in
of the-
Ashley's furniture. I'm like, say no more. You have to cross 2 streets on a light. Don't come back.
It's not going to come back.
Yeah.
I just decided, and I know. So I got to see Tracy's set, and I haven't seen Tracy Ashley. Everyone should go find Tracy Ashley. She does a lot of colleges, but
She'll
she also
come to
does
you.
clubs.
She does colleges. She goes to towns. Like I see shit on Facebook where I'm like, that's not even an airport you're landing at. That's a cornfield, and you're
and you had to fly in an hour and a half and drive.
Your plane just cartwheeled, and you jumped out into the set. Like, where are you?
Right. She parachuted in to do a set,
Yes.
and then had to somehow hire a farmer with a cart to take her back to town.
Somebody please make her famous enough where she can just do Friday, Saturdays.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's all I ask.
Tracy Ashley.
Tracy Ashley.
Yeah, with an E. She, her album is called Two First Names.
Yeah.
And so it's a good, and I hadn't seen her set in probably a year.
Yeah.
18 months, and it was all new and it was all awesome.
Yeah.
It's just great comedy.
Yeah.
So, and we both went to, there was they're working on a documentary out of Acme Comedy Company. We're both Minneapolis comics.
Right.
And Louis Lee, the guy who owns that club, took 3 comics to Hong Kong. And
Oh, yeah. I
the
heard about this.
Freaks and Geeks guy, Josh Weinstein, he filmed it as a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to see the first cut of it. And it's Pete Lee, Chad Daniels, and Tom Segura.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fascinating because they went to the Hong Kong and the Singapore open mic scene and filmed a bunch of that. Some of it funny, some of it a disaster.
I totally want to do that.
Oh my God.
Do you think when I get Luxembourg citizenship that will somehow help me
That
do
will
an open
it
mic
will.
in Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong, I think the next time Lewis brings 3 comics to Hong Kong, he should bring me and you and somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I've already told him he's got to bring me, and he said it's
You
Coach.
don't have to
you know.
drag me.
It's
Listen,
no,
you,
but
you get your own first. I get
it's
it.
but I'll tell you
You
something.
establish a bulkhead and then you move me out.
I got to go to Hong Kong, so I can recommend you to the guy.
Oh, cool.
And Ryan Stout actually hooked me up with the Hong Kong gig.
Cool.
The 10 days I did in Hong Kong.
Nice.
And I didn't make a dime because I brought Andy with me, but it was so much better than spending 10 days in Hong Kong
Oh my
without
God.
someone to hang
Of
out
course,
with.
yeah.
Even though Michael Dorscher is the guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Very funny comic himself out of Hong Kong. He would have hung out with me. But Andy was like, let's go look at this other Buddha. And so we looked at like 19 different versions of Buddha, and it was
They have
fantastic.
different tummies. They all have their own
They have
individual
different,
tummy.
sometimes a skinny Buddha, sometimes a giant Buddha, and there was a row of tiny Buddhas. We went to a lot of Buddhas. It was great.
I love it.
And then, guess what? Chinese food. Really good Chinese food in Hong Kong. I don't know if you know this, but it's pretty great. Yeah, so what
So Valentine's Day?
yeah,
Did we
Valentine's
circle back?
Day.
Okay, so
what Valentine's gigs? Do you have any good Valentine's gig stories?
stories in general?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
Did you work Valentine's?
I did. I was
Of
I was
course.
in Manhattan.
Right.
And I did 17 spots in 4 nights.
Did you do 17? You picked up an extra spot?
I think I did.
Because when you were
16 or
leaving, it was going to be
17,
16.
Yeah.
4 spots
Might have been
a night.
it was 17. I could have stopped at 16, turns out, because the last set, I was like, I never
Punchy?
wanted to hear my voice again. I hated every single joke I was saying.
Because you were working on the same 10
Yeah,
minutes?
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, listen, I had a couple breakthroughs on a couple bits.
Oh, that's
so
great.
I was like, fucking A. But then, you know, so then I was like, all right.
But you're still working on
I
the same
could
10.
have been happy to do 17 3-minute sets, you know? But like, I felt really bad because Whiplash was my last set at the UCB, and I was spent, and I was sick
Yeah.
of myself and sick of me, and so I felt like I kind of the first couple of minutes I was like, well, I can't say these jokes again, so I just started
Just
going out.
riffing?
I'm not a storyteller. I need shit that I've written, and okay, I'm very formulaic in that way. Okay,
Yeah.
and so of course, every once in a while, I'm like, let me just see what I have. Turns out I never have anything unless I have it already planned out.
Unless you
I'm a
have
planner,
something.
okay?
Right.
I'm a Hillary. I'm not a Bernie. I'm a fucking wonk, okay?
I think Bernie's a planner. I think Bernie.
He looks a little improvisational.
He looks improvisation. He looks alty, but let
Yes.
me tell you something. He's been doing it for 7,700 years.
True.
That guy's a planner,
So is Andy Kindler, though. So
right? You think Andy Kindler's not a planner? Guy's a planner. You
I
guys,
bet he is.
He is.
I bet he is.
Yeah. I mean, you could say. I mean, a guy like who gets up there and doesn't. You never know what's going to happen.
Peppertown?
Chad Daniels, I would say. Chad Daniels goes up. He has material,
Well, I think
but you
he's-
never know if he's going to weed off and go off.
Yes, he
into
has
the
material
world.
ready, but he's also ready to access his rage in any second.
Anytime, it was just like,
always-
why the hairy eyeball? And then all of a
That's always
sudden,
fun to
gone. That was the greatest part of that documentary
Yeah.
is watching Chad Daniels lose it in Singapore. And you can't do anything in Singapore. Singapore has a lot of very strict rules.
If I remember, you get caned for spitting on the street.
You get caned. They will cane you. Tom Segura loved this joke about. Or was it him or was it Josh Weinstein? Somebody had a joke about getting caned in the dick. was a dick caning joke, you guys. And it was a good one.
Of course.
Why wouldn't it be? So what else? I have this to say. I was on, where was I? I was in Portland and Seattle with Maria last week.
Cool.
So I did.
Oh, that sounds like heaven.
It really was heaven.
Wow.
Because it was Maria Bamford
Her
audiences.
crowd
in Portland and then
Yeah.
in Salt Lake City. And they just wanted to hear whatever.
In Salt Lake or Seattle?
Salt Lake.
Oh, okay.
We did 2 nights at Helium in Portland, and then we flew to Seattle and to Salt Lake and did Wise Guys.
Okay.
In Salt Lake. Now, before you go on stage, here's what you want to hear from Maria Bamford. Are you going to do the newest thing? You're going to do that newest joke? And I was like, yes. And then you do the thing you just fucking wrote.
Yeah.
And the audience is so giving. And so,
man.
what weird thing were you thinking about today? And they are on board. And I got,
Wow.
I have a new, and it's a mess. It needs to either be flipped on its head.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a sex joke where
Dick caning? Is it Dick caning?
there's no dick caning.
Okay.
It's about tantric sex, and it's complicated. So at the end of
I
it,
saw you doing it.
yeah,
That's
you
really,
saw me the
it's
other.
funny. I really
it's
like
funny,
it.
but it might need to be flipped on its head. You know how sometimes you got to
Much like
introduce
you during tantric sex.
Exactly, all bendy. People don't ever think of me as bendy. And you know what? You're right. Anyway, so I'm not saying, but yes, but it was so much fun to just work on new stuff.
Yes.
And we did all
Without
this
feeling like if you bomb, you're going to get fired,
Right,
or
or
you're going to lose
anything.
the crowd if the crowd's already
Yeah,
into
Maria
it.
could care
Oh, that's so fucking
less
great.
about. She's like, you do whatever you want to do. I don't
Wow.
care. And she's like, and then I'm going to do hopefully whatever I want to do. And the thing is, but she's got to bring it, right?
Yeah.
Because they're her people.
Yeah.
But she's like, you're doing 25, 30, and appear genius like. Do whatever you need to do. And so I just and it was and her parents came.
Wow.
And Scott, her husband, her new husband came.
Yeah.
And so it was 1,000. It was so much. It was just people to hang out
That's
with, and there
amazing.
was stand up, and it was a joy to behold, quite honestly.
Well, I had to one night at the stand. I had to follow Big J Okerson.
Yeah.
who is like
Talk about a guy who you don't know what he's going to say.
Oh no! And this guy is. I think he's at Patrice O'Neill levels of comfort on stage, and
He was almost born there, so for him to be even more comfortable than the last time I saw him, which is a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's like you
It's
you could
eerie.
listen to him for 2 hours. You know,
You're like,
and-
he's a bath. That guy.
Wait, a bath? What do you
right,
mean?
he's just a warm bath that surrounds you, and you're like, oh, I'll go wherever this guy wants to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes he wants to go somewhere dark or gross.
I know.
Yeah.
That's it's a thing I will never have, that kind of comfort. Whatever I have is totally different than that kind of person that just sort of they almost take the stage into their body, you know,
Right.
and become the stage.
Right.
It's not presentational whatsoever. It's so casual and conversational. It's just
Do you
such
remember
a,
the Ghost of Christmas Present?
Yes.
And then he opens his coat and there's those children
Yes.
on the ground. The audience are those children. And Big J. Okerson is the Ghost of Christmas Present. And yeah.
Yeah.
So how did he have new stuff that you hadn't seen before? Or?
yeah, I was mostly in a panic, so I wasn't watching.
Oh, fair enough. You were
I was
running.
like, really? Okay.
I'm next. Am I next?
But yeah, the MC Pete Lee was actually emceeing, and his wife Emily, and Pete goes, "I'm going to do a couple of minutes." So I go, "Thank you." He did. So it was fine. It ended up being
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
I mean, plus the audience it was I think it was a show Frantic Monday where it's. I think
that's
they
a
have
good show. I
they
love
have
that show.
That crowd is different from other regular crowds.
Yeah.
They're real
At the
comedy
stand.
nerds. So
Yeah.
at the stand, so that they know that one person's going to be there for 15 minutes, and then another person. They're not
Yeah.
like, "Oh, where'd that last guy go?" You know?
Right. It's a different. It's a one. That's a wonderful show. I love.
Yeah, it's fun.
The Stand might be a reason just to go to New York.
It is.
I really do.
You know,
like
I'm on
the Stand.
I'm on the bathroom wallpaper.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm wearing glasses. I don't look like me.
They printed wallpaper.
They printed wallpaper
Of comics? Pictures?
that used to do the cringe humor shows.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's really cool. Yeah,
That's almost better than having your picture up at the Improv.
way better.
Okay.
Because I don't have my picture up at the Improv. So
Neither do I.
I'd rather
But
be on
the guy
on the
who
bathroom
takes those
at the
pictures.
stand.
The guy who takes those pictures. By
Yeah.
the way, he said to me, "You know, I've been taking pictures of you for like 8 years. I've never gotten a good picture of you."
Oh my god!
I was like, "Well, good. I'm glad you haven't used it then."
Oh my god!
But I don't know what to say. I don't know how to. I was like,
Did
"Am I
he-
just constantly
was he
talking?"
blaming
or?
himself? Or
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think he was blaming me.
Okay. But he still doesn't know that's not
something to say out
good
loud.
thing to say. Yeah.
Inside your head voice, buddy. But it is weird that it is. Yeah, no, I didn't. I thought it was. I was like, well, good. You didn't put it up on. Don't just put any stupid picture of me up.
Yeah.
I mean, this podcast has many stupid pictures of me, by the way.
Lot.
But there's nothing to be done.
Yeah, there's
every week
really.
Nerdist would like a picture of us, and so every week we're going to.
And then they add their under eye circles filter to both of us, especially to me.
Build a flip book of the aging process, you guys. Start collecting it, and then just, and it'll be great. So
But it mostly it was. I mean, it was really fun. It was like it was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was Valentine's Day. So it was almost like 3 weekend nights in a row, which gets to be like really like you got to kill every show. It's not like a loose. Usually Sunday is kind of loose and fuck aroundy.
Yeah.
And so that was like a third
night.
Saturday.
That was a third Saturday.
Yeah. So that was a little pressurey, but
it's intense.
I was like exhausted again, and because I felt like every time I go to New York, I'm like, I got to prove I haven't lost my New York chops. So
you got to refill your New York well.
Try to crush but doing new stuff at the same time. I don't want to be like completely.
No, because you also don't want to repeat stuff like you're not writing.
Exactly.
You don't want to imply that.
Yeah.
So Maria, because she had her family, she couldn't do radio, so they had me do all of her radio.
Why? Wait. First of all, genius excuse on Maria's
the
part.
Best.
What? How does family start? Would her family not let her out the door to do radio
at 7:00 in the morning? Yeah. That's when Marilyn and Joel were like, "Oh, honey, we're going to go to lunch." It wasn't even her
husband; it was her parents.
She was like, "Nah, I'm not going to do it." But so whatever it was they asked me if I would do it, and I didn't know how to say no.
Sure.
Because I don't know how to say no to more stage time, I guess.
Right.
And so I went
Plus
and I
you
did.
might go back there by yourself as a headliner.
Well,
and then...
anytime now. Helium, any day now. I'm on like a 2-year rotation with them.
Oh.
And I always have a good time. And it's a great club. And I know a lot of people want to play it.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
And in conclusion, blah. We all get it.
Yeah.
So, so I did radio, and it was... it just made me think about all the radio that I've ever done.
Right.
And we've never talked about do you have a strategy with radio at all? Besides trying to get out of it?
It's sometimes it's great when you're just in and out. They want to hear 3 classics. Like
I love it when
3 jokes and then you go away.
It'd be great if the DJ when the DJs know what they're doing. It's great.
And then there's the guy. It's I hate the setup where it's usually 2 guys and a woman in a separate room.
Why is she in the separate room?
Who's there to laugh at these guys who usually aren't that funny. Like the whole morning zoo setup is it's brutal, so old and boring,
and it's 4 hours. And so I mean, it's usually like, can you stay? Because we got to fill the time. Please stay. We got to fill the hours, and the strippers are coming, but they're not coming until the next hour. And you're like, okay, I'll stay. But what I like to do, first of all, I don't mind it if they ask me for 3 bits.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
I don't mind it when they say we don't want you to do bits. But did anything happen? And then I just farm in 3 bits because screw you.
Yeah,
we don't know each other.
Trying to get people at the show.
Yeah, I'm trying to get people at the show. And then the worst is when they don't know what they're doing, and I have done this because I am incredibly sometimes bossy or aggressive or entertaining is what I like to think of it as, because I'm on radio or television or whatever it is. If you don't know what we're talking about, I do. I'm going to talk about whatever I want. And I'm going to talk this fast for a long time.
Yeah.
And we're going to get some jokes out, and then we're going to go to play some Eagles, and then I'm going to get the hell out. I mean, something, right?
Right.
But have you ever had to railroad your way over the DJs? You ever feel that? Because that might just be me. I hope not. I hope not. Please say it's not just me. There you go.
But it's you don't want a real answer, Jackie. You just want me to echo what you're saying.
I just want you to say.
I thought this is a real conversation.
It is real conversation, but boy, wouldn't it be great if you also did that thing that I do.
There's this other thing I remember about. I haven't done morning radio in a long time. About people being just because I don't go on the road that much. So
Right.
when I do, it's just but
Yeah, yeah.
people like you have guys in different rooms behind you.
Yeah.
And they're asking you questions and you can't see them, but they're very well trained in pretending like you're having an eye-to-eye conversation.
Yeah.
And you're looking up and
The voice of God is just coming to you from,
and you don't know who to deliver
from the guy who
joke
has a
to.
house in Miami who can't stand the people he's been working with for 30
in
years.
a basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple guys like that.
Yeah. There's definitely a couple of guys like that.
The last time I was on Bob and Tom, it was
They're done.
what?
Yeah. Bob retired.
No.
And what's her face quit.
Oh, Christy, I thought
Christy-
she had I knew she had a podcast.
And now she has her own podcast.
Oh.
So now it's just Tom. I don't know if it's just Tom.
Tom and Chick.
Tom and Chick, maybe.
Wow.
It was, but Bob was kind of done anyway.
Okay.
And so he was like, no, well, let's just call it. Because I think he was on vacation a lot last year. So, but Bob and Tom
But
was
still
nice
doing
'cause
the show.
But yeah, and then still on the name. And
Yeah.
but I did so last time you did Bob and Tom.
Oh yeah, well I had just done Last Comic Standing, and they had aired it the night before, and this is like 2009, where people are still internet comments are you don't expect them yet. It's just starting a little bit to get really nasty.
Right.
And I advanced to the finals, and Fortune Feimster didn't. We were brought out together.
Oh,
so
okay.
people thought, oh, it's her versus her, you know. So there were a lot of Fortune's fans that were really fucking upset that I went. And by
they
the way,
lost their mind online.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And just trashing me. And then I was like so depressed by the time, because I stayed up all night and read the comments, of course. Like I flew in a day
error one.
early, put myself up in a hotel so I could do Bob and Tom because they've got like million markets. And then I stay up all night and read comments, and I get there like on 2 hours sleep. And I'm like, oh, everyone in the world hates me now. They all hate me. I read what they said about me.
I read what they said
so
about
I could
you.
barely deliver a joke without
Yeah.
just sighing in the middle of it.
Because clearly Fortune's fans were like, she
Listen,
should have won.
She's doing way better than me.
It's
so
all good.
She did win. Don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
She
She's doing
she did
fine.
win.
You're doing fine. She's doing fine. Everyone's
Yeah.
doing fine. Please do not be super sad that your comic didn't
Yeah.
make it into Last Comic Standing finals.
Yeah, she's good.
There has to be
I think she's
anything else.
Is she on Mindy Kaling's show now?
I think so.
She
Either
had
that
a
or she has her
pilot,
own
like
show.
Tina Fey did a pilot with her and stuff.
I think every time she walks into some sort of building with offices, someone hands her a bag of money. She's doing fine.
I
And everyone loves Fortune.
Yeah, she's great. She's very funny.
And
Yeah.
she's really funny.
But her fans blamed me very harshly online.
Right, because they were disappointed and they just knee-jerk reaction. We were talking about trolls.
Right. Oh my
And-
God, Jen Kirkman yesterday. This is
Just taking it on.
Sunday. So this is going to air tomorrow.
Yep.
But Jen spent all day yesterday on Saturday just retweeting guys saying
Mostly guys.
shitty things
Almost
about
entirely.
Hillary Clinton
Yeah.
that were completely sexist, and it's
Just weird.
yeah, and like I know that vein in America exists, just like there's like this really racist vein.
Yep.
It's like a swamp, but if I live over here, I don't have to see that swamp, but it's still there, and it was really disturbing. A lot of the shit she was retweeting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just
like, oh fuck, is that
And
is
she would
that in
actually-
our audience every night?
well, and then she would engage. She
Yeah.
engaged with
I
him, which is the
can't-
better
yeah.
part of valor is I mean, the fact that she would even
I think it
talk to
depends on
these
your
guys.
personality. Like
Yeah.
some people, like I think she likes to engage, and she likes to have this public discussion.
She's like, let's do it. Let's have a public
Yeah.
discussion. Dave Anthony also
Yeah.
also will will respond to the button pushers.
Yeah.
I just block them. I just
I
pretend.
block and move, go away.
Yeah, I was just like, if I had a comedy club and I could kick hecklers out immediately,
Yeah.
that's what I would do. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what my Twitter feed is.
Yeah.
That's what my Facebook face. Yesterday on Facebook, I posted it was 5 reasons to not vote for Bernie. And then you click on it, and it was this whole thing about if you're a capitalist fuck, if you hate joy and puppies. I mean, it was like sarcastic,
Yeah,
right? And
right,
so
right.
I warned people in the I was like, this is clickbaity. It's actually 5 reasons to vote for Bernie, and I like Bernie, and so this is something to think about. It's just no big deal. And somebody I am friends with, because it was just a friend.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I've stopped accepting just random friend requests from people on Facebook, because if I don't know you, I'm not going to do it. Just go to my fan page. But
Look
this
at
guy,
you. Go to my fan page.
Go to my fan page, people. But this guy just wrote "fuck off" or "no, fuck you," and so I replied to it and I said, "Do I know you?"
I've done that before.
And then under that I said, "I actually only appreciate being told to fuck off if I know a person personally."
Yeah,
because that's what I want from a comic.
Yeah, it's like, this is my page, dude. You just come down my page and tell me to fuck off. It's kind of like my
Andy's
house,
weird Christian aunt is on this page. If you could not be mean in front of her, she's never heard a swear word. That's so not true. But yeah, I do like. I like that she's willing to address the trolls. I mean,
I do.
She'll do it.
Yeah.
Patton Oswalt will sometimes do it.
Yeah.
Lindy West will do it.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to do it.
I can't take that energy. I feel like, you know what? I'm raising a really awesome man.
Yeah,
that's my contribution to the world. I can't.
It's a living amends, Laurie. It's a living.
I can't do that. I don't want to keep talking back to, and I don't want to be addressed by name by somebody with a "don't tread on me" avatar. I just don't want them knowing my name or anything about me.
Yeah,
which may be why I've had limited success in achieving fame.
Exactly. So did you hear that Steve Martin did stand up?
Yeah, I did.
Opening for Seinfeld.
Oh, did he? Wow.
Yeah, he opened for Seinfeld at some weird gig, doing stand up for the first time, I guess, in 36 years.
Wow.
Because that's where you wanna get back on stage
do an open mic
in front of 1,800 to
you go to Hong Kong and do.
That's it. You go to the Tex-Mex place, and because that's where it is. It's at a Tex-Mex place in Hong Kong.
Perfect.
Hilarious. The fact that there's even Tex-Mex in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
But did you listen to Steve Martin when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did.
I never did.
I did, and but I didn't think, I want to be a comedian
because of him.
Yeah. I needed. Here's one thing I feel a need for Hillary is it didn't occur to me to do stand-up comedy until I saw female comics in clubs when I started going to stand up in San Francisco. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Like even Joan Rivers, I was like, if that's what you have to, because I didn't like her style.
Right.
I didn't like that self-deprecating
If that's what it's going to be, I don't want to do that. Style.
And that's what I thought it was, because there's hardly anybody else. I mean, maybe there was Elaine Boozler, but I don't think I ever saw her until I started doing stand-up.
The only comic
she was on HBO.
The only stand-up comic I saw before I did stand-up comedy was Gallagher.
Oh my God.
I saw him on the Tonight Show.
Decided to do stand-up comedy.
Well, it was that must have been the reaction, because I was like, stand-up comedy is that? I don't want to do that. That doesn't seem because he had a giant couch behind him.
Yeah.
On the Tonight Show, and I was like, well, anyone could get a laugh with a giant couch behind him. That
you were able to break it down.
I broke it down to that. I was like, well, that doesn't seem fair. And my dad goes, what fair? It's just comedy. Don't worry about it. And I was like, okay. But we never listened to stand-up. Like, I never listened to Cosby or George Carlin or Steve Martin when I was a kid.
No, just Steve Martin, because he was on the Carol Burnett show.
Right, and
Carol Burnett was my entry into everything.
Into
comedy.
Showbiz.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So if Steve Martin was on the show, which he was, that's how
that would have been the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Well, and the weird thing about Steve Martin is that Brian Cook loves Steve Martin. Mm-hmm. Brian Cook loves nothing. So I was like...
He's a comic.
He is a comic here in Los Angeles. And so I was like, I wonder what kind of comedy Brian Cook found amusing when he was a child. And so I started listening to it. And all I had ever heard was that King Tut song.
Yeah.
And then I saw him with the arrow on his head. And I was like, well, that can't...
Out of context.
I was like, out of context. And I was like, well, that doesn't look like good writing either.
Yeah.
But so I listened to 3 Steve Martin albums in the last 2 days.
Oh, wow.
In an effort to try to figure out what I was missing and if I would have loved him when I was 11. And I might have loved him when I was 11. But what I love with the power of the sun love is when you watch someone who's like, hey, this guy's a genius, this guy's amazing, and then you listen to like I watched Bill Cosby do stand-up. Now I've listened to Steve Martin do stand-up. I've listened to George Carlin albums. And I'm like, yeah, that's good comedy. That's just stand-up.
Yeah.
But it isn't, like, the only thing that I ended up listening to for the first time, probably 10 years ago, I listened to Richard Pryor's album.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is something else.
Right.
That was more intimidating, or not intimidating, but
Yeah.
that was more like inspirational, where I was like, no, this guy's doing something that isn't, and the album I listened to had been hacked so bad. Like, I had heard at least 4 different male, black guys do stuff that was almost comparable.
Yeah.
But the way he did it, and it was so personal, and
Yeah.
it was so, he was in the whirlwind of that stand-up. I was like, oh no, that guy's a genius.
Right.
And over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then lit himself on fire. But
Even before he lit himself on fire, you thought he was a genius.
yeah, the album I heard, I think, was before the fire lighting.
Oh, cool.
It was essentially, it was early stuff about growing up, his crazy ass growing up.
I am comedically illiterate. Like,
Yeah, me
I've
too.
heard a few, but I don't know. I just didn't grow up with it, and
And
sometimes
we see
now
so much
listening to
stand-up.
comedy, I'm like, I have to leave the room. It makes my skin crawl, and
Yeah.
but I don't know what to say.
I wish I'd heard all the great comics, but I don't want to.
Yeah, let's go on a road trip where we just listen to some stand up, and talk about it.
It sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like a disaster.
Wait, we'll pull over at a Flying J, the best gas station restaurants.
Great place
in
to
America.
buy cassette tapes of stand-up comics, by the way.
Yes,
One of the
little
greatest.
Jeff Foxworthy for your pleasure.
Hey, did I tell you, before we taped this, I got a call from Kira Sultanovich. She is on the 5, driving
Yeah.
back from a gig.
Yeah.
And I said, where are you? And she said, I'm at the drive-thru of the In-N-Out.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
I know that in and out.
I know that In-N-Out.
Yeah.
I said, how far did you make it? She said, I didn't make it far enough. I was trying to do that thing where I was trying to make 5 hours. Just make 5 hours. And I was like, that's that game that you play when you're doing the road where you're like, I don't want to pull over. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it. And then you're like, I can't hold it. I gotta pull over. And women comics, we can't be in a cup. So whatever.
I can hold it pretty well.
I used to
actually
be able.
really good.
I used to be able to hold it. And now it's 2.5 hours and I'm like bored. Even if I'm listening to a book on tape.
I like to try to do it on 1 tank of gas.
You like to go
That's how
fumes.
That's why I go Bay Area to LA is 1 tank of gas.
All right. That's pretty good gas mileage.
The longest I ever drove was I left Schaumburg, Illinois, which is kind of near Chicago.
Sure.
I had a gig I was working the Funny Bone there, and I thought it was a Tuesday through Saturday, and it's just Tuesday through Sunday, I guess. So I had to stay the Sunday. I'm like, fuck, because I had a gig in Sacramento on Tuesday. Both of these are MC weeks though, so
Right.
paying in the hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, hundreds.
So-
Not even hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah, like 150,
Yeah.
2 to 150. And so after John Rigi was headlining, and so I had to stick around. I had to watch his set. I had to say thanks, good night. So it's like 9:30 on Sunday, and I get in my Chevy Blazer, and I drive straight to Battle Mountain, Nevada, and that's like
Holy
30
crap.
hours maybe.
Yeah.
And I just had tons of coffee, Mountain Dew, a ton of
No-dos?
shit, no-dos, everything.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
No,
Now
it
very
was the
dangerous.
precursor to Adderall, you guys.
Now that I look back, it was pretty
Super dangerous. Yeah.
Like if my son did it, I'd fucking kill him. But I did at one point. I was driving and I saw a walking stick on my shoulder. You know that bug?
Yeah.
And then I was like, and I went and I shook, and then it was gone, and I never saw it again. And I
So you're like,
didn't know where it was, and that kept me awake because I thought it was going to come back and get me. and I was trying to drive straight through to Sacramento because I'm like, I got this. I have to do 12 minutes up front on Tuesday. I got to get there.
Yeah.
So like Tuesday morning is when I hit Battle Mountain, and then I was like, I pulled into a hotel and slept, and then drove the rest of the way to Sacramento. Made the gig.
Made the gig. Everybody made the
Fucking
gig.
Make your gig.
Make the gig, you guys. Yeah, you do what you can. I mean, I remember any number of like snowstormy kind of stuff because
Yeah.
that was the big thing in Minneapolis where you'd have I did a gig in the middle of Michigan and I couldn't pick whether to go up and over from Minneapolis.
Okay.
Which would have
Through Canada?
No, through the UP, through
Okay.
the Upper
Oh.
Peninsula, or down and around through
Okay.
through Chicago. And I ended up doing down and around because it was literally in the middle of the Lower Peninsula of Michigan.
Could you at that point have driven across Lake Michigan?
I could not.
Okay.
If only I'd had a windsurfer, an ice windsurfer, which they had. But I went around, and I remember at one point being so exhausted that I stopped at a gas station. And for some reason, this is the weirdest food that I ever bought. I bought fried chicken gizzards.
Ooh,
A quart. Guess how many fried chicken gizzards you want to eat? Just one.
a tablespoon?
if you like fried gizzards, which I do because I'm Armenian, and my dad, it was a big delicacy, and he was the only one who was allowed to eat them when I was a kid.
Is that why they're sold there? Or are there enough Armenians to sustain the fried gizzard?
Well, Michigan
industry?
is full of they're full of peasants.
Okay.
And so peasants love peasant food,
Sure.
and so you make all the food out of everything. You know, the biggest new population in Michigan is Arabic.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Iraqis.
Oh, I know. Guess what? My dad told me about that before he died.
Did he
Every
think that's
day.
where the terrorists were going to come from?
On jihadwatch.org. My dad's posts. Believe me, the whole family's fully aware.
Didn't he come to visit you? Didn't you tell me that he thought he came to visit you?
So amazing. Okay, so after my dad died, there was a mourning dove was at our house, and my sister said, "Oh, those usually travel in pairs, and there's just one here." And she said that to my mom. I mean, if that's not true, don't fucking tell me, because our whole family is comforted by this potential lie.
Yes.
So, so we see the mourning dove, and we're like, oh, that's Dad. He's watching over your mom. You know, and funeral, go to funeral, do all the death stuff, right? So, so then my mom comes to my house on Thursday, or the week earlier, but her shit comes on Thursday. So she's ensconced in the house. I leave to go to New York. I come back on Tuesday morning.
Go right to work.
Right from the airport to work. And
crazy.
I can't open my office door. There's a note that says there's a bird in your office.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, I opened the door to peek. And it was a mourning dove.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
right after
neat.
my mom gets here, which is really... And
it's very sweet. So you killed it. No, that would have been...
We let it go,
made Aristotle
but
laugh.
It did shit all over my desk. And
so it's sort of jihadwatch.org. Yeah. He just wanted you to know.
I think the bird knew, because we are on the shittiest Dell computers. You can't even believe it.
Oh, at work?
Yes.
Oh,
And
that's weird.
And even the bird knew. And said, let me take care of this for you.
Let me get you a new computer. That's all I can do
But
from
I
you
don't
from
have a
the
new one.
from the
I just
beyond.
have a newly polished computer.
Oh my God, that is
Bird shit.
I bet.
Yeah.
That is, well, that's adorable.
Yeah, that was sweet.
It's very sweet.
I told my mom.
I like, yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. You got
got
anything?
nothing?
Yeah, what do you got?
Let's see. Oh, this other thing I did in New York is, so I'm working on the old special, which is a year and a half out now.
Yep.
But, so we're trying, Cringe Humor, their management company, we're doing this thing where we're sort of repackaging it a little bit. And, and I'm doing some, I just answered questions. Like they have a studio in their office. It's
in New York?
They have a
nice.
full studio, and, you know, it was like lit, like it was like being on Best Week Ever. You know,
nice.
They would throw questions out and I would just sort of answer them. And so we did that on one of the days I was there, and we're going to try to sort of add it around and see if it becomes, I guess, a little different, where, you know, it's a death comedy special.
Right. Right. And so there was going to be some shots of your dad, wasn't it, from the hospital?
Yeah.
And stuff?
There's this one at the very end that we're going to put in for sure, where my sister asked my dad, what's your legacy? You know, it's a cringeworthy moment, because my dad, it looks like he just now realized he was dying.
Oh shit.
So every time I watch it, I'm like, oh fuck, you know. But he says, well, and he's thinking, you know, this is like probably the big question everyone wants to answer in their lifetime. Mm-hmm. And I'm silent, my sister's silent, we're just waiting. And my mom comes into frame, bends over to pick up like a candy wrapper in the middle of it. And we just start yelling at her like, Mom, what the fuck? This is a real moment. Why are you ruining it? And she, well, I just want to get this one thing, and then everything will just okay. And then she backs out. But it's like exactly what she does all the time. There's a special moment happening.
Yep.
And she clomps in and steps all over the animals in the rainforest. And then, I'll just be here a second. And you leave, and there's dead butterflies everywhere. It's her.
Did he have an answer?
He said, be kind and loving.
Okay.
Fair and loving. I should know.
Yeah, those are some, because you want that. I mean, the thing is somebody
jihadwatch.org sig. Be fair and loving.
Be fair and loving. And don't forget to write a goodbye note. So, you know, I was thinking about sort of the last words. Did he have last words?
His last words to me were, "I love you too."
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
Those might
neat.
have been his last words.
Because my dad, when he went under the knife, he thought he was going to die. And the nurse said, and I missed him going under the knife the second time. And so she said, well, your daughter's on her way from the hospital. Do you want to wait? From the airport, do you want to wait? And my dad goes, nah, let's just do it. And he genuinely thought he was going to die. And so did the nurse. And the nurse said, well, do you have any sort of message for her? Do you want me to tell her anything? And the nurse told the story. It was so funny because she goes, yeah, tell her to do whatever she wants.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, those are the greatest last words in the world
You're
from
free.
Elliot Cation. and I asked him what he meant by that later. And I was, and he finds this to be hilarious because he was junked up on morphine or some sort of joy juice after the thing when he lived. Because he lived, you guys, spoiler alert, he's still alive to irritate. And,
Again, you're shoving your fucking parents down my throat. Dead mom, live dad.
and you're
Jackie.
like, why? Why has it got to be like
it
that?
all worked out for
I
you.
miss my mom though. Anyway, so Nancy Cation, I wish you were alive to irritate
I know,
me.
I'm
know.
sorry.
I know you're
Okay.
kidding. But what I said, did you mean that in general or in specific? And he said, in general. And I was like, in general. He's like, I suppose if it doesn't hurt anyone. And he said, no, even if it hurts people.
Do it?
Do it anyway. And I was like, that is the worst inside your head voice answer that you shouldn't say out loud. So,
Well, I told those guys cringe when we were, because I think they were kind of reading some of my tweets to
Yeah.
myself to ask me to respond
Yeah.
to them. But one
Oh,
of
yeah,
them
yeah.
was that, I would never have an orgy while my parents are alive. So one down. But you know what? The other thing was really, there's a lot of, New York's coming back to me as we keep talking,
Yeah.
But I saw a bunch of people I hadn't seen in a long time.
Right.
And I saw Bonnie McFarlane.
right.
Do you know Bonnie?
I do know. Well, yes, Bonnie McFarlane have a trouble because she married Rich Voss,
Yeah.
and I guess when they were getting married,
Yeah.
she told me they were getting married, and I thought I didn't say this out loud, but I guess I think I told you the story. Is
No.
that- okay,
It
'cause
sounds bad, though.
It is bad because I thought I told her a very cute story about Rich Voss cock blocking himself with hanging out with Dave Mordahl at Last Comic Standing.
Okay.
It was a great story. I saw the two of them. They had a bromance, right? They fell in love
yeah,
on
yeah.
Last Comic Standing, and so they wanted to be friends forever and always hang out with each other. And so I saw them the last night of the first season of Last Comic Standing, and they were hanging out. And these girls had come up. All these different women came out. This was before he's going out with Bonnie.
Yeah.
And just like hitting on both of them. And Dave wasn't into it at that point for some reason, but Rich was kind of into it. But then he'd see that Dave wasn't into it, and so he would say something mean to them.
Yeah.
And he would say something mean to them instead of just saying, no, I'm not into it or whatever. He would make them go away. And so I saw him cock block himself. I'd never seen such a thing twice. And so I thought it was a great story. And that's the story I thought I told her. And then she got mad at me and didn't talk to me for a couple of years, Bonnie McFarlane. And then I ran into Rich Voss about a year and a half ago on a different podcast. And he said, oh, there's Cation who doesn't like me. And I was like, Rich, how did you know? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But he said, you were the one who told Bonnie when we got married that she shouldn't marry me. And I said, I did not say that. And what did I say? And she said, and then he told me exactly what I said. And it sounds exactly like something I was thinking, but I didn't know I was saying out loud. I guess Bonnie McFarlane said to me, Jackie Cation, I'm marrying Rich Voss. And I said out loud, that guy sleeps with everything.
Oh no, Jackie! Oh my God!
I don't think.
my God.
That wasn't great. It wasn't my
was
finest. I am
awful.
not the hero of that story, you guys. I'm very sorry.
But you know what? You set the bar. Like the rest of us just have to hope we say something as horrible to a friend. Oh my God!
Right? I was like, and I
You
love
are
Bonnie McFarlane,
my new queen.
Oh Jesus! And the thing about Voss is that they're really good together.
They're great. Oh,
and
yeah.
they're snarky but happy.
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And
they
so
have
there's
like,
no reason for me to be such a dick about it. I don't know what happened.
I think those two and maybe Tom Segura and Christina Pachowski have the two, as far as I can, the two working comic marriages. That
does he go out with her?
Well, yeah, they had a baby.
Hi.
They're married.
I barely know.
Christella had a show, and Christina had a baby.
I've met her a couple of times. She seems very nice.
She is.
I've met him a couple of times. He seems very nice.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so I see Bonnie. Now
Yeah,
Bonnie had a daughter about a year after I had my son, or maybe
Oh, right.
6 months
So
after. I had
they're
my son.
comparable.
And when I brought my son to New York in August, I took him to some gigs, like 1 or 2, to save on astronomical babysitting fees.
Right.
Minimum 20 an hour. Plus, I gave the girl like 50. I was expecting change. I gave her like 50 for popcorn and stuff, and it was all gone.
Right.
I'm like, what? I already bought the tickets in advance. Like, how do you spend that much money? I don't know. But I was so grateful to have care, and that I gave him to a stranger in Times
and it
Square,
worked out.
and he came back alive.
Right.
I was like, that
fine. Was worth 50.
Yes. In addition to the 100. Okay. So when I'm like, I can't do this. So I can't before this every night. So I brought my son to a gig once to the Stand, and I'm like, I don't want to be the comic always brings her kid. I get in my head. I'm like, oh, they're going to hate me and they'll never book me again. Yeah. So I put my son in a corner. I go, don't you talk to anyone. I gave him the iPad. I'm like, you get to play, but I don't want you talking to anyone. I don't want you bothering any comedians. I want you to be a little gentleman.
Yeah.
Right. And so he is. It's all okay. And then. So I'm there this last time, and Bonnie's there with her daughter, and her daughter's sitting at the comics table. And,
just riffing?
Yeah, practically. But I told Bonnie, I'm like, I wish I felt that comfortable with my son here. And she goes, well, she told her daughter, don't talk to any comics unless they're headliners.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Now her daughter asks if the person's a headliner before she...
Oh, my God. That is awesome.
It's great. So it was just cool to see her. And, so she had her daughter and lifting her. It was like the Late Show and like doing all the stuff I wouldn't let myself do because I guess I'm a little more... he's a product of a single mother, and he's got a lot of things going against him, so I got to be really strict. And he's piano classes. He goes to bed at this amount of time. He doesn't know I'm a comic, or I try
he
to
doesn't
shield
know
him.
I'm a comic. Don't tell him.
I'm just trying to like make up for what I think are a lot of negatives.
You're trying to give him some sort of weird,
normal,
like June Cleaver kind of childhood.
Yes.
Yeah, that's. I don't think that's possible, but you do whatever you need to do.
But I think because Bonnie and Rich are a couple, and they're both comics. They're all in on their comedy life, and they bring their daughter with them on the road sometimes, and she's at clubs, and no one cares, and it's really cool. I was envious of that sort of comfort level,
that loosey goosey kind of parenting style.
Yes.
Kids are so resilient.
They are. It's true.
Get this, Andy and I yesterday went and saw Deadpool.
Yeah,
and there were 5 boys, 8 to 14.
Yeah.
Who were like, hey, are you guys going to see Deadpool? We can't get in because it's rated R. Will you buy us tickets? And I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's
And
great.
Andy was like, we haven't even seen it yet. You're thinking it's okay? And I was like, what's it going to be? It can't be worse than the internet. And they're five Van Nuys kids. It's going to be fine. So I go up and I'm like, and they're like, we have the money. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And Andy goes, we're not going to buy you beer though. And I said, not until you're in college. And so I was like, it's me, him, and our 5 nephews.
You're going to buy them beer after they're legally allowed to buy them beer?
No, in
you're
college,
the best neighbor
18.
ever.
18.
Isn't it 21?
College.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'll buy an 18-year-old a beer.
I interrupted the story for a bad joke. Okay, keep going. Sorry. I was trying to get a riff going and went nowhere.
And I went nowhere.
You didn't and me, by the way. You went,
God
but
damn
no.
I should talk to that guy from Iowa West. Anyway.
The one that got fired?
Yeah.
Too bad, Jackie.
So sad, too bad. Too late. Maybe he'll start his own internship program with his wife and children. Anyway, so but I have this to say is we get them in, but it takes a second to get them in because I have to get them the tickets, and then I have to get them past the ticket puller. The kid, because Andy and I went to get popcorn because it's Deadpool.
Are you pretending you're the parents?
No. I mean, everyone knows that this is absurd because they've been lurking there, I guess, for half an hour. And Andy's like, well, why don't we see this movie and then buy them tickets? And I was like, make them wait 2 hours? And the oldest kid goes, yeah, it's more than 2 hours. Could you not do this to us? And I was like, yeah, we cannot do this to you. And then we go we get our tickets ripped, and I'm at the thing, and all of a sudden Andy's like, hey, they're having trouble getting past the ticket ripper. And I was like, they're our nephews. And
nice.
So they just come in, and I was like, you can't talk during the show. But they were such nice young men.
Were they brothers?
They were just a pile of kids. I don't know, but they were just like, thank you, ma'am. Thank you
that's
so
cool.
much. That they were so polite. I was like, look at these nice little working class kids, because it's all
That's what
very
I want.
nice.
I want a nice working class.
That's
kid.
what I
yeah.
think, and I think he is. I think he's a very polite young man.
Thank you.
I like the difference between before you guys went to Ireland and after. Very noticeable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his social skills are just a lot.
Yeah.
He's just a little. He walks a little taller.
Yeah.
He's a little stronger. I think
Yeah,
in himself. He's a young man.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. Thanks so
Yeah,
much.
no problem.
But yeah, it was cool to see Bonnie. And then I saw this one night we were at the. I won't say the club or. I didn't. See, do you know Lynn Coplitz?
Yeah, I don't think Mitch.
The Cindy Crawford you can get. That used to be her joke. Do you remember her?
I don't remember that joke,
She's
but I know her.
very much
I know
been-
her.
She's a New York comic. She goes on the road, but
Yeah, I know her.
Yeah, she's so funny, and she's
I haven't seen
our
her in
age.
years. Okay.
She talks about menopause, and she was talking about menopause on stage while she was visibly sweating, and it was the funniest fucking thing. And it was really cold in New York, so the audience was bundled up. Everyone still
Everyone
had
else
their
has
coats on.
jackets
It's
on,
the
and she
Broadway,
is
so there's
soaking
no heat.
wet?
Yes, it was hilarious, and she was hilarious. Really
About
funny.
it. That's so
And
great.
The thing about Lynn, like I have I have a place in she has a place in my heart because back in the old Tough Crowd days,
Yeah,
it was really hard to get women on the show. Did you ever do Tough Crowd?
I did with Rich Voss,
Oh, cool.
and
Okay.
and I think Eddie Brill, and then Colin
in between his Letterman sets.
in between his Letterman sets, and then Colin hosted.
Sure. Well,
And,
yeah, that's his show. So he's
sure,
gonna.
he was hosting, and somebody else.
I
And
believe you.
It was the weekend. Can I tell this? It was the weekend after John Ritter died.
So it.
And
so
they wanted a
funny.
John Ritter joke, and I told one, and the audience booed it, and they cut it from the show.
Bummer.
I was like, you don't ask for a John Ritter joke and then not like it, because my joke was it was that they renamed his show 8 Simple Rules I Ignore Because My Dad Is Dead. And nobody liked it. Nobody. I was like, come on.
Oh man, you were robbed. You
so
were robbed.
it was hard to get women on, though.
At one point I threw a fit, and I was like, we got to get more women on. And
You do it,
and
Kilmartin. You stand
and
up.
The complaint was, well, they're not jumping in with the guys, and we can go into that into the next hour into what
Yeah.
all the things that are about that. But what I did was like, all right, so I'm going to have some roundtables with just female comics, and we're going to practice talking about politics with each other. So
Wow.
it was twice. It was at the Cellar. It was me and I think Bernadette Pauley and Sherry Davy.
Oh,
and
wow.
then
Such great
Coplitz.
names,
right?
man.
So these are all comics who are like have been
New York
on
comics,
one
yeah.
or two times, but it's
Awesome.
like they should clearly be on more. Like it was really frustrating, and
Yeah.
so
I don't need to stare deeply into the eyes of Patrice. It's fine.
I loved staring in the eyes of Patrice. I
Right.
just remember one show where I think they were talking about birth control, and it was 5 guys, and I was like, ah. Okay. So anyway, so back to this thing. So Sherry Davy and Bernadette are they read the paper. They're politically
they're on
interested,
board.
right? And Lynn, I love Lynn. That's not her.
Right, she doesn't
she's not
write about
reading
it, yeah.
Politico every morning, but she's part of this thing. So she comes into the Cellar with like 5 newspapers under her arms. Shit's highlighted. She's like Kurds, Sunnis, Shiites. I'm like you're fucking awesome. I love
You're on
you.
fire, yeah.
It was cool.
That's
all.
and I love
was
that you stuck it
I
out.
hadn't seen her in so long, and it was so great to see her. That's it.
That's so great, New York. This has been a great episode.
Sure, check out Tracy Ashley. She's great. She's
She
our
is
comic
great.
of the week.
She's the plug.
Get that girl off the road.
Right. Just hand her a bag of money, and then we'll just we'll do another one.
We're gonna roll. Yeah, we're rolling into our next one. Okay, bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.